Michael Downa is joining us live with more. Michael?
Val, the accuser Beverly Young Nelson says she has not talked to the other accusers. She voted for Trump and is willing to go under oath with her testimony today. She says this is not about politics, but has everything to do with the man who she says assaulted her. Beverly Nelson today, next to her attorney Gloria Allred, laid out a timeline of Moore's alleged sexual assault.
When I was 15 years old, I began working after school.
The location, Old Hickory House, a restaurant where she says Roy Moore was a regular.
He sat at the counter in the same seat night after night.
Nelson says the then DA flirted with her and once in her yearbook signed,
"Love, Roy Moore."
It was a few weeks later, after work on a cold night, that Nelson accepted a ride from Moore when her boyfriend was late.
I thought he would get on the highway, but instead he drove to the back of the restaurant.
She says it was there that Moore assaulted her.
Mr. Moore reached over and began groping me, him putting his hands on my breast. I tried to open my car door to leave, but he reached over and he locked it so I could not get out. I tried fighting him off while yelling at him to stop. But instead of stopping, he began squeezing my neck, attempting to force my head onto his crotch.
After fighting, Nelson says Moore eventually gave up.
And he then looked at me and he told me, he said, "You're just a child." And he said, "I am the district attorney of Etowah County. And if you tell anyone about this, no one will ever believe you."
Nelson says she was afraid of Roy Moore, and while she did tell her family members, she says she may have kept her story quiet if it wasn't for the 4 women who told their story to the Washington Post last week. And the end of her news conference, well, she had one last comment for Roy Moore.
That he no longer has any power over me, and I no longer live in fear of him.
Now, we did see Roy Moore respond to these allegations just a few minutes ago, which you were able to watch live here on WSFA.com and on WSFA, of course, as well. And this is what he had to say.
I can tell you without hesitation, this is absolutely false. I never did what she said I did. I don't even know the woman. I don't know anything about her. I don't even know where the restaurant is or was. And if you look at this situation, you'll see that because I'm 11 points ahead, or 10 or 11 points ahead, this race being just 28 days off, that this is a political maneuver and has nothing to do with reality. It's all about politics.
Now, that's been pretty consistent with what we've heard from Roy Moore from the beginning of these allegations that broke last Thursday, basically denying pretty much any wrongdoing or sexual misconduct and saying that this is part of a political witch hunt against him because he's leading in this race. Val?
All right.